there's a belt attached to those trunks. The belt and the trunks are completely non-functional. It's like a rear spoiler on a Honda Civic. Like there's no functionality to it at all.
Batman is prepared for everything. Are you telling me that he's not prepared to have a place, a prison to keep these people? I have to be able to picture it underneath clothes, right? Because I like the, the ripping of the shirt, like that.
That's a great point. You cannot put the suit underneath anything. What's going on, folks? This is the second episode we're recording tonight. I'm going to get us off to a good start here. The feedback that I've been seeing about Superman through some of the scoopers that have got some insights from some of the people that have seen the screeners or have been in on the screenings for Superman has been interesting. And the word shtick was used in the description. It wasn't that it was a sticky movie, but the person was trying to make the point that James Gunn's Superman is going to feel very much like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, where the humor was used sparingly and it wasn't kind of like overdone. The other thing that they said too, that David Corenswet was a great Superman, that he nailed the role. But I don't think I want a comedic Superman movie, and I'll tell you why. The dog already has dialed down the seriousness of it. The suit has already dialed down the seriousness of it. Actually, let's not say seriousness. Let's say sincerity. The sincerity and character accuracy. It's already kind of dialed that down for me a bit. The other thing is Guy Gardner. Like the vibe that he's giving off already is just goofy and, totally a caricature. He's going to be a caricature. That's what I'm kind of picturing with Guy Gardner. And Nathan Fillion is a really good actor, and I know he'll be able to nail it, but I feel like it's going to be a caricature. And it's also an ensemble movie, to a certain degree. Now, Gunn has already said that this movie is going to be very much a Superman movie. There's three main characters: Lois Lane, Superman, and Lex Luthor. Those are the three main characters of the film. Everybody else is basically supporting cast. But I don't get the sense that that's going to be the case. And the other thing that's throwing alarm bells up for me is I've been going back and watching the trailers. There's not a single word of dialogue other than what he says to Crypto in the entire trailer. And I'm wondering, is James Gunn hiding the fact that the dialogue that he has in this movie is out of character for Superman? Is he trying to mitigate any fallout from that? Because if you go back and you look at other trailers he's done, Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy, all the Guardians, lots of dialogue in the trailers because he likes character-driven movies. So you need the dialogue. I don't know. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think lately a lot of movies aren't having a lot of dialogue in their first teaser trailer. But I do see your point a lot because it does seem like it's almost cartoony. The vibe that it's getting, which there's some good Superman cartoons, like My Adventures of Superman is pretty fantastic, but definitely see the worry there, and there, especially with Guy Gardner. Okay, I mean, like nobody likes Guy Gardner. He's the most hated Green Lantern that there is. So, I mean, you're right. He's a 100% a character of just a punchable face. And that's all Nathan Fillion needs to do, and it's going to take away from Superman.
I think the key word here is teaser, because this is a teaser trailer. It's to get interest peaked in the look of Superman, and the feel, I think, of the movie. And it's doing what it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's getting people talking about it, right? I think the worst thing that can happen is have a teaser trailer drop and just be like, and just nobody talking about it. The opposite of love isn't hate; it's indifference. So at least people are talking about it in one sense or another. And the final trailer, whenever that drops, obviously is going to give us a little bit more into what Gunn Superman is going to look like and sound like. As far as it being an ensemble piece, it's a Superman movie. I don't know. I mean, it could be that these are just going to be bit parts, right? These are just going to be bit parts that will expand as DCU expands. But as long as the focus is on, Superman, Lois Lane, and that aspect, the Daily Planet of it all, and these other players come in for the action scenes, right? And you get Green Lantern, Hawkwoman, Mr. Terrific. Then I'm going to be okay with it. But if we're starting off Superman as a ensemble movie to begin with, then that does have me a little bit worried. I want to know more about this version of Superman, and how he relates to the wider world. And we'll see. I'm always down for Nathan Fillion. I've told you guys before, I'm a huge Nathan Fillion fan. He could lead a Guy Gardner movie for sure, and it would be the greatest. Like, you want to talk about shtick? That would be the greatest slapstick shtick comedy ever. Like, they're having this Lantern show that's going to be like True Detective. I don't think Guy Gardner's going to make an appearance in that one. He just doesn't fit that aesthetic, obviously. But having like Guy Gardner and like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle all in the same movie, I mean, sign me up. I'm there for it. How he'll fit in the Superman movie, he could be the comedic relief to, the straight man of Superman, right? Everybody needs that comedic partner, and I don't see Mr. Terrific being that. I definitely don't see Hawkwoman being that. So Guy Gardner is going to be the, I don't know, maybe the voice of the everyman, because he kind of portrays that in the comics a little bit. Like, he's a more down to earth, grounded Green Lantern versus the idealistic nature of like Hal Jordan or Kyle Rayner. So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Well, the full quote, I'll read the full quote. Meanwhile, I spoke to someone this weekend who has seen Superman, and they really liked it. They said David Corenswet delivers as the Man of Steel, and that the jokey moments I mentioned on my podcast, The Hot Mic, were initially viewed out of context, but work much better within the flow of the edit. They compared it to how Gunn balanced the humor and the drama in the Suicide Squad, saying it has genuinely funny moments, but it also knows when to drop the shtick and get serious. The current runtime is roughly 140 minutes. Now, I think, okay, so for me, when it comes to Superman, I think tone is everything. Like, tone in a Superman project is 100% everything. And if you want to be witty and clever with Superman, like the way that Mario Puzo was, the way that he wrote Superman, for Donner, then sure, I'm okay with that. That makes sense to me. A witty or a clever remark makes sense to me. But if it's going to get into like the Guardians of the Galaxy style humor, I don't see that translating very well. And I think that there's a high potential that this is going to turn a lot of people off, despite the glowing response to Corenswet's performance. And it just, and then, with the fact that there's been no dialogue in the teasers or the trailers or anything, where it's just shots and shots with music over it, makes me highly suspicious that maybe they missed the mark on the dialogue, and Gunn kind of knows it, and he's just trying to mitigate the fallout.
I don't know. You can't. I don't think he wants to show all his cards all at once. Like, how many versions of a trailer come out before the movie's release? I mean, on YouTube, I always see like for Captain America: Brave New World, I think I might have seen like 5 or 6 different trailers leading up to the release date. So again, it's a teaser trailer, and they're all action shots. It's all of us to look at it and say, ooh, ah. You'll get dialogue in the future trailers, and plus I think it's not done yet. It's still in production, right? So there's a lot of editing still to be done, and a lot of finishing things. It's going to get focus grouped to death, obviously. So we want to see what lands with the focus group. But what they did have in the can were these really cool action shots, which I thought looked neat. Whiz bang, But I have a lot of faith in Gunn. If it weren't Gunn, I would be a little bit worried, but he's garnered a lot of good faith in me through his time with Marvel. And I've been a fan of Gunn since his Trauma days, right? So I like him a lot. A lesser director would have me worried, but I feel like he really loves the character of Superman. He's a nerd. He's one of us, right? One of us. So
Right.
he's gonna have, I think, the heart of Superman in his best interest. He doesn't actively hate the character. Like I've seen, there was a movie, I can't remember what it was, that where they actively hated like comic books, and you can tell in the making of the movie, like they just completely changed whatever it was. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm so bad. But this is not that case. He loves Superman. He loves comic books. So I have a lot of faith in him. He's going to have to do a lot for me to really get to just kind of write it off. I mean, this is going to have to fall completely on its face for me to say, you know what, I don't think the DCU has much of a shot. So I'm reserving judgment until the movie comes out, and that's the only way really we can fully judge something.
Okay, fair. No, fair.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that Superman is such an important property because this is going to set the tone for what the DCU is. And he's not going for setting the tone with Batman, which I think would be the smarter move because I think more people relate to Batman now than they do Superman. And I don't think we're going to get a casting announcement for Batman until after Superman is released. Maybe, but Superman, all of DC is all in. I mean, that's even the DC theme right now for all their comic books. I mean, is all in. And right now they are all in on Superman. I mean, they're calling this summer the summer of Superman. They got so much stuff coming out. They've already started production on Supergirl, which I am more excited for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow than I am for Superman.
So am I.
Man, that book is just fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I don't want a tongue-in-cheek Superman. I want a Superman that every time when he's Superman, not Clark Kent, when he's Superman, that you hope things are going to be better. You hope that he's just going to stand there and be like, with his arms out and Superman pose, give us that Christopher Reeve-esque, with a David Cornsweet twist, like you merging of the two, and just give me hope that this is going to be a good movie.
Wouldn't it be wild if they cast? Wouldn't it be wild if they cast Henry Cavill as Jonathan Kent?
Jor-El?
No, Jonathan Kent.
Oh, we already know who got cast as Jonathan Kent.
Oh, who was it? I missed that one.
It's I can't remember the guy's name, but he was in The Walking Dead. He played Otis. In The Walking Dead.
Otis from The Walking Dead is it Jor-El?
No, not Jor-El. No, Jonathan Kent. Yeah.
Oh, the dad. Okay.
Yeah, the dad. Yeah. He's I'll tell you his name in 5 seconds here.
I just keep waiting for some sort of Henry Cavill stunt casting somewhere.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, with what happened with Cavill's casting, or his announcement that he was coming back as Superman and totally getting his legs cut out from under him and being told, no, you're not. I don't see him being too favorable towards DC right now, but that's just me. Also, Millie Alcock is on the cast for Superman.
Oh, absolutely. There'll be a scene.
Looks like it. Pruitt Taylor Vince is playing Jonathan Kent. That is Otis from Walking Dead.
I don't want to go down too far in the deep end, but the Absolute Superman comic books, so the Kents are actually the L's. The L's make it to Earth with Clark and take over the identities of the Kents. And
shit.
He has his parents all through his life, and then they die. They die of old age, whatever. But there's a lot more that goes into it. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I think that is such a really cool twist on that, and I like it.
Interesting. That sounds really interesting. I actually want to read that now. That sounds really fascinating. I definitely want to check that out. How do you guys feel about the suit? We've never really talked about that on air. How do you guys feel about the suit? Personally,
I gotta look it up again.
I'm not a fan. I look at the suit as being, I don't know. It looks like they rushed it. I think what happened was during this, like, they're in a certain stage of production when the strike hits, the strike ends, they got to catch up. And I think what happened was the suit got rushed, and it looks like it got rushed, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of trunks. I think trunks are the worst way to go with any superhero costume. I just think that they look stupid to have your underwear on the outside of your pants. Just looks kind of dumb. And there's a belt attached to those trunks. So the belt and the trunks are completely non-functional. So it's like a rear spoiler on a Honda Civic. Like there's no functionality to it at all. So I'm not a fan of the suit. Also, it's really thick. Like if you actually get like a good shot of the way that it fits around Corn Sweat's wrist, you can see the thickness of the actual material. Like almost kind of like the edge of it. You can see how thick the edge of that cuff is. And it just does not look, it doesn't look comfortable. It doesn't look good. And it pales in comparison to the Michael Wilkinson Superman suit from Man of Steel and from BVS and all the other versions of that suit. And there's no story to it. Like it's not a character in the way that the Man of Steel suit was in Man of Steel. Like that suit had actual Kryptonian glyphs carved into the material. Like there's actual like writing carved into that suit. There's nothing like that in this suit. It just looks, I don't know. There's just no appeal for it for me. And honestly, I gotta like the suit to like the characterization. Like it just doesn't feel right to me. Rich, thoughts?
I like the angular S. And I feel like that was in a comic book run. Brad, you may have to refresh me on that one. But yeah. I feel like I've seen it somewhere. But I like the angular S. I think it looks sharp. I think Gunn was going for kind of a classic modern look. I think he was paying homage to the underwear on the outside look, while also giving us a modern take with that S shield. I do agree. I like Cavill's suit better. I like Tyler Hoechlin's suit better in Superman and Lois. We'll see how it looks on screen. I mean, I'm looking at a bunch of behind the scenes photos, and any suit looks bad in behind the scenes photos. So
Cavill's didn't.
Yeah. I mean, but Cavill, filled it out. He's Cavill. I mean, so I mean, but Corn Sweat worked his ass off to get into shape for this movie, and you can't even tell that he's like did anything. Like the suit totally mutes any. There's no definition.
Any definition in his body.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it looks on screen. But I have seen better suits. I'm not really a fan of the underwear on the outside anymore either. I kind of like the unicolor suit. So yeah, it's kind of right. The S looks cool though.
Yeah, Brad, what are your thoughts?
I'm in agreement with both of you guys. Actually, I love the logo. I like the Superman logo, but like when I think of a Superman suit, I have to be able to picture it underneath clothes, right? Because I like the the ripping of the shirt, like that.
That's a great point. You cannot put the suit underneath anything.
Yeah,
it would be bulging all over the place,
and it's got a collar. I mean, and it's just again, no trunks, but. Yeah, it doesn't scream good Superman to me. It seems my Superman suit needs to either be a Kryptonian suit that he was sent over to Earth and they were planning for this, or it needs to be made by Ma Kent. It needs to have that homemade feel to it because he's a Kansas farm boy, I mean, like, and that it doesn't. I mean, even in Kansas, they're like, don't put your underwear over your pants.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't look right to me. It doesn't feel right. And ever since we saw, New 52, that style of Superman, and Zack Snyder went forward with a trunkless look. It works.
Mm-hmm.
It looks amazing. You know, you give him that little sort of ornate belt, like just like in the MOS suit, and it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So, and why would you have a belt on a pair of trunks? Like, it doesn't. It just looks fucking stupid.
He doesn't want to lose his trunks flying at sonic speed. I mean, what? Come on,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think so.
Makes complete
dude.
sense
I
to
don't
me.
think so.
That's the
But
last
the
thing you
trunks
want.
are stitched, but the trunks are stitched into the suit. That's the other thing. It doesn't really make a ton of sense. So the other thing that very few people have been talking about, I don't know if you guys heard this, but apparently all the extras are stylized in almost the exact same way, like their clothing. It's like a very retro, neo-retro type of look. And apparently it's homogenous across the entire city. So that feels very cartoonish to me, because I don't know what city you would go to where everybody dresses the same other than like the Middle East.
Metropolis.
You know? Yeah, no, they want you to believe it's Metropolis, but I don't think that that's a realistic expectation that everybody would be kind of dressed in the same color palettes and textures and all that shit. That just doesn't really track for me. I don't know. It seems weird. Like, it seems like a really weird thing to do in your production design to get everybody to kind of have the same style and look. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I don't like it. Like I said, it's just I don't want a cartoon of Superman. If I want to watch a cartoon of Superman, I'll turn on the Avengers of Superman, or My Avengers of Superman, or I'll watch Justice League Unlimited or something like that. I don't need. I want a real city. I don't need everybody to be styled the same. I don't want a cartoon.
Neither do I.
Yeah,
Rich?
maybe everybody in the background looks the same to make the heroes pop out more. Yeah, I mean, if Gunn is going like with the Superman suit, going for a retro modern look, then the extras are gonna kind of fill out that same palette. So yeah,
good point. Yeah, if that is the case, that's a valid point to make. But it just, I don't know. It kind of seems kind of silly. So did you guys hear that it was yesterday was the 4-year anniversary for Snyder's Justice League?
I didn't realize that.
Same.
When did you guys last watch that?
Probably about that long ago.
Really?
Well, when the Snyder Cut made it on Max, that was the last time I've watched anything Snyder on the Snyderverse. So that 4-hour cut of Justice League. So whenever that was.
Have you only watched it once?
4 hours once? Yeah, I'm not going to watch it twice. I mean,
what?
I watched the original in the theater, the James Whedon cut, and then Joss Whedon cut, and then I watched the Snyder cut when it dropped on Max, both once. There's no way I was watching 4 hours twice. But it was good. I like the Snyder cut.
Okay. That's a movie that you got to watch a couple of times to be able to soak in all of it, like all the nuances and like the little grains of dialogue that are just amazing in that movie. You got to watch that again, man. Like that, like the second viewing will definitely increase your joy for that one. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I mean, Darkseid looked great. I kind of wish I saw him in the original. It's one of those things where the fans called for the Snyder Cut, and I think they were right. I mean, the Snyder Cut, I felt, was much better than the Whedon Cut.
Way better.
I get why the Whedon Cut had to be made the way it was. I think they were trying to be like Marvel and kind of be that witty thing, and Whedon just got done filming Age of Ultron around that time, so he was
basically stole some scenes from it.
Yeah, he was a perfect
Justice League,
perfect fit for that aesthetic. But the Snyder, I like the Snyder Cut. I mean, I thought it was really, really good, and I think he definitely had a vision of making DC the opposite of Marvel, to be a little darker, a little grittier, a little more anti-hero kind of thing. I think the only true real hero was Like Wonder Woman was really kind of the straight laced kind of hero, but she had some. Superman had some flaws. Obviously, Batman. And then Cyborg's story was just completely heartbreaking. Watching it in the Snyder cut, so I thought it was really really good. And then Aquaman, just he's just there to look cool because he's cool because Jason Momoa looking cool. But so Zack Snyder, it's another one of those unfairly maligned. He definitely had a vision, and I was in it. I was all in on it. I would like to have seen how he would have rode that out. So who knows? What could have been? Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Okay, let's ask Brad. Brad, how did you feel about Snydercut?
Dude, I love it. I watch it every year. Every summer I watch the Snydercut, man. I'm more of a DC than I am a Marvel guy. So like I watch Batman versus Superman every year too. I mean, like I watch
Me too,
Man of
bro.
Steel.
I love BVS.
Yeah,
I love the Ultimate Edition of BVS. Like that is a fucking awesome film.
It's a good movie. It is a good movie. I will stand on that hill. I will die on that hill.
Me too, brother.
These are good movies, and is there great parts? Yes. Are there not so great parts? Yes. You're gonna get that in every freaking movie that's made, and I'm saddened that we won't get the Snyderverse anymore. Maybe, who knows in the future what the future holds. Maybe we'll get an animated version of something or other. Maybe we'll come back and do Crisis on Infinite Earths, and we'll have Corn Sweat meets, Cavill or whatever. I mean, I doubt it, but it's if they're going for the multiverse, which apparently that's the thing right now. I don't know. But yeah, man, Snyder is pissed off, and he moved on to Rebel Moon. And, which I think we'll probably talk about a little bit as well. But yeah, man, it's great. I watch it every year, all 6 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours or 4 hours, yeah.
Wasn't there a Justice League?
There's a 6 hour cut.
Wasn't there another cut, Justice League Gray or something, or black and white?
Yeah, but it's just black and white.
Yeah.
It's not longer.
Was it the Snyder cut in black and white?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Probably why I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, it was the more artistic one that Zach wanted to do.
Justice League Noir.
Justice League Noir. That's exactly what it is. So the Snyder Cut, I was one of those people where as soon as I started hearing about that this could actually be a possibility, I was 100% on board with it. I was a believer. I thought that it was crazy that there was people that felt that it was that they felt the need to like deny it, like to come out and deny it and say it didn't exist and it would never happen. Like, I don't know what motivates people like that. I kind of feel like it's from a very dark place in a lot of people. It's just weird because if somebody came to me and told me like, hey, there's another version of Civil War where Iron Man kills Cap or Cap kills Iron Man, I wouldn't be like, oh, it doesn't exist and I'll never see it. I'll be like, okay, how do I see this film? Like, I don't know what the resistance is in DC to Zack Snyder. Well, actually, I kind of do know what it is. And you know what? I want to get your guys' thoughts on this too, because I think this is an important conversation to have. I think the initial reaction from the detractors and the DC fan base to Man of Steel and to BVS was the fact that they didn't get the cartoonish action figure that they've always thought Superman was. Like, yeah, if you read Superman comics religiously, you get to see a lot of his nuances and a lot of his different aspects of his personality and the different dimensions of who he is. But if you're just somebody who's a casual watcher and you're just a casual Superman fan because it's Superman, or you're a casual Batman fan because it's Batman, there's a lot of people like that, or just like, oh, it's Superman and Batman? Hell yeah, I'll watch that. Or it's Spider-Man? Hell yeah, I'll watch that. Right? But there's a lot of people that just don't understand the dimensions of this character. And I feel like what Zach did was he found the human before he found the alien demigod. Like, that's what he was going for. Man of Steel isn't a film about Superman. It's a film about Clark Kent. It's a film about Kal-El. It's a film about him being in an impossible position and being called to stand up and save the earth. Like, he wasn't like, I don't think he had any designs on, hey, I'm going to be this superhero when I grow up and I'm going to save people. He was just kind of thrust into it because of where he comes from. And every time I hear complaints about the characterization of Superman through the eyes of Zack Snyder or David Goyer, who wrote Man of Steel, and Chris Terrio, who wrote BVS, I always say, like, you're missing the point. Like, you're missing the point. Like, it wasn't about, like, there was still optimism there. There was still hope. It just wasn't this lunchbox version or this backpack version or this cartoonish version of it. It was a human version of it. Like, they did everything they could to humanize this character. And they rooted it in a very powerful story about immigration, and a very powerful story about identity, and a very powerful story about trying to find your place in the world. Um, and yeah, I just, it's weird. A lot of the pushback against Zach and what he does for comic book movies and what he does for DC. But yeah, do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, as far as like Man of Steel and the humanization of it and all that, like, do you guys agree or?
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Zack Snyder played Superman as a tortured soul, I think, in Man of Steel, especially by the time we get to him, snapping necks at the end. And I think that's where a lot of people, the casual fans, as you were saying, I think we're kind of aghast, right? Not my Superman. My Superman would not be snapping necks in the comics, or he would never kill people like that. He would find a way to not. I mean, if Batman doesn't kill people, why is Superman killing people? So I think there was a lot of backlash to that, and I think with Batman v Superman, the whole Martha thing, I think turned a lot of people off. Like that whole battle stopped because their moms had the same first names. You hear a lot of thought pieces behind that. But I think deep down, and no movie's perfect, right? So, but deep down, I think Snyder had a vision, and I liked it. I didn't mind the neck snapping. In the context of that fight, what choice did he have? Because Metropolis was coming down skyscraper by skyscraper, and what are you going to do? I mean, he had to do it. So I didn't mind it. And I think, like I said, unfairly maligned. I think you're looking at a couple of things in a snapshot and not looking at the wider vision of where Zack Snyder wanted to take the DCU. And we'll never know. I would have loved to have seen a Cyborg movie, to get more of his origin story that we saw glimpses of in the Snyder cut. Just heartbreaking the way his dad had to fix him the way he did, and he didn't want to be that. But yeah, so that was his vision. And I think what, Frank, you're so nervous about Gunn is maybe it's the pendulum swinging in the other direction now. We don't. How do you separate yourself from the Snyder universe being grimdark? You make it bright and happy. So it's just that pendulum swing, and we'll see where it lands.
That's a mischaracterization. The Snyderverse is not grim and dark. It's hyper realistic. Like, there's a sense of hyper realism in Snyder's work that just isn't in any other comic book movies. Like, if Superman was a real person, if Superman was an actual entity on our planet, it would be Neil deGrasse Tyson who would jump on TV and try and explain to you what it meant in the grander scheme of things. And that's exactly what happened in BVS. Neil deGrasse Tyson gets on a news show and is like, hey, this is what this means for us as humanity. And that's exactly how it would play out. If a demigod came to Earth right now and said, I'm from I'm from an alien planet and I have all these amazing powers, it would be fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson on CNN, the first guy trying to explain it to us. That's what I'm saying. Zach has a certain level of reverence for the source material where he embraces them as mythology. He doesn't embrace them as cartoons. He embraces these characters as mythological figures, right? And he did the same thing with Batman. As human as Batman is, he also tried to do the same thing with him. Like, he definitely went to the wall to try and humanize him as much as he possibly could. I don't see it as grim and dark. And I think that people want to use those words because of Zach's color palette, and I get that. Like, yeah, Zach doesn't use high saturation. Zach does not use overly exposed shots. Like, his shots are underexposed. He uses a lot of desaturation, and he kind of has his own sort of color palette. But I don't necessarily think that means it's grim and dark. I think that means that it's just a stylistic choice. The content itself, I think, relatively to Marvel or relatively to certain DC comics or DC cartoons or whatever, is a little dark for sure. Because, yeah, Zach does not buy into the no-kill rule. I don't buy into the no-kill rule. I think the no-kill rule is the most juvenile thing on the planet. I think it's cartoonish, it's juvenile, and it infantilizes the audience. Because at the end of the day, if first of all, and there's a lot of things, and this is something that people gloss over all the time. Batman killed people in the Michael Keaton movies. There's a couple bodies that go down in the Michael Keaton movies. There's also a couple bodies that go down in the Christian Bale movies. So Zack Snyder is in the first one to use Batman to kill some people. Everybody's used Batman to kill some people. It just happens, right? But if you look at it through the context of just the character and just the world that he exists in, it makes total sense for him to get to a point where he might have to take somebody's life. Because if you think about it, look at the Joker, right? Look at the Joker. The argument can be made that Batman has beaten that man within an inch of his life so many times that he has only increased his psychopathy and his homicidal tendencies because of the actual beatdowns that he gets from Batman. Because CTE, right? Head injuries. Like Hernandez, the tight end for the Patriots. That guy killed people because of head injuries, right? So it's actually proven now that CTE can cause homicidal rage in people who have CTE. So the argument can be made that Batman's actually making things worse by not killing the Joker. And I think that we need to get to a place where sometimes people are going to die. Like, that's just what's going to happen. That's how we move on, you know? And I think it's really childish to try and just end a story where this character keeps coming back and keeps coming back and keeps coming back no matter what they do. That's why I like the Injustice. Like, I really like the Injustice comics a lot. Like, when Superman punches a hole through the Joker for what he did, that tracked for me. Because what he did was goddamn horrendous. Not only did he kill Lois Lane, but he used Superman to kill Lois Lane using Scarecrow's fear toxin. That's a crazy, crazy plot. Like, that's a crazy idea to put in a story. So the Joker had to die, and he had to die like that. How do you guys feel about the no-kill rule? I know it's a very contentious thing, but
yeah, man. First of all, Tom Taylor's Injustice comic run is some of the best DC has ever done, ever, period. You know, there's no...
It's great.
It's great. The no-kill rule, I agree, is stupid. Because there's always going to be collateral damage in everything that these guys do. The same point the way Superman ended up killing the Joker. I mean, it's... Can Batman be blamed because he's the one always fighting the Joker for the people that the Joker kills because he escapes from Arkham or whatever, however he gets free? You know, I mean, how many lives would Batman have saved if he killed the Joker?
Exactly.
after the second meeting, or same with all of his rogue allies. I mean, it's plot devices, obviously, but yeah, man. I mean, like, there's gonna be collateral damage, and they have to know that. I mean, if these guys are running around in capes and their underwear are on the wrong side of their pants and stuff like that, yeah, people are gonna die.
Yeah. Rich?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can blame Batman not killing Joker. I think you blame the lax security and questionable staffing practices of Arkham Asylum, right?
But you would think that Wayne Enterprises would have gone into Arkham and donated, the R&D to make it almost like a Supermax, right?
Like, look, this is the 10th time he's escaped. I'm coming in and I'm fixing your security so he doesn't get out. Like, what's the deal?
Yeah,
but
like, you have a wing for Mr. Freeze and you have a wing for Poison Ivy. I mean, like, Batman is prepared for everything. Are you telling me that he's not prepared to have a prison to keep these people?
That's right. But I digress. I think here's how I feel about the no-kill rule. The reason why the Injustice comic run is so good, and based on a video game on top of that. I mean, I've seen some comic book adaptations of video games that are like awful. It's like movie adaptations of video games are awful. But the reason why the Injustice comic run works so well is because Superman doesn't kill. And when he does kill, this happens, right? If all of our heroes killed, we get the boys, and you get Homelander, and you get all of that, right? And then you can't tell the difference between the heroes and the villains. So it's the no kill rule is what separates on a higher level. What separates the good guys from the bad guys,
but that's a platitude, Rich. Like saying that immediately after somebody kills somebody, they automatically go to the dark side is kind of like the best way to armor the argument that there needs to be a no kill rule, right? Like to give it credence. That's the best way to do it. But at the end of the day, man, like, yes, killing somebody is going to definitely change you. Is it going to turn you into Homelander? Depending on who you are and how you justified killing that person and why you killed that person. Like, I just think it's a little bit more nuanced than just like, hey, this guy killed somebody, now he has to break bad. I just don't think it's that easy.
Yeah, the first kill's the hardest. Each one after that gets a little easier. Not that I've done that. I'm just saying, like,
right.
If any true crime documentary has taught me anything, is that the first kill of the serial killer is the hardest, and then he gets better at it and has less of an affinity of not doing it. So if Superman and Batman killed on the regular, then Injustice wouldn't be good. It would just be a Tuesday. And that's why stories like Injustice are so good. That's why the Batman Who Laughs is so good, is because of that dichotomy. So I'm not saying that heroes are indiscriminately kill for a purpose, but if it's a little too regular, then what's the point? Like, where's the story go?
Okay, so let me ask you, how do you respond to somebody when they say that killing is out of character for Superman and for Batman? How do you respond to that?
In the traditional sense of the comics, yeah, it is out of character, because I mean they canonically blatantly say, the no kill rule, right? In not so many words.
Yeah, but isn't that contrived though? But isn't that completely contrived to make it that way, to uphold it? Like, think about it this way, right? Superman is a demigod, right? And when he punches somebody, realistically, his fist should be passing through everybody's face as he's punching them. Like, that's the realism of it, right? Like, every time Superman punches somebody, their head should just be missed at that point. Because I don't think that he knows how to control his strength to a point where he can actually inflict damage on somebody, especially in a very kinetic fight. Like, to a point where they're not going to take his, like, that, to a point where he can avoid taking somebody's life. Because there's also other factors involved. Superman's opponents, one may be more physically resilient than the other. That's also something that would come into play, what kind of damage Superman could do. So what I'm saying is that the kill rule is actually a contrivance that's created by the writers to create this false sense of I don't know what word I would use, but yeah, like this false sense that they want the characters to have for the fans, like to, you know, yeah, this sort of great, like, yeah, I don't know, but that's kind of how I see that. You don't see it that way?
I mean, it's every like comic book I read, every movie about a comic book, it's like if we kill, we're no better than the people we're fighting against, right? That's the
Yeah, I know,
the
but that's
high
how they.
level.
Yeah, I know, but that's the writer that that's the writer upholding that law.
Yeah, but you can't have Superman killing people on the regular. Like, I mean, he could kill people with a wet willy. I mean, he's so overpowered. He could kill anybody he wants, but he doesn't. I mean, he's the big blue Boy Scout. So that's kind of his thing. He's truth, justice, and the American way, so to speak. So it's his character not to kill people. That's why Zack Snyder's was such a shock that he didn't find another way to take care of Zod other than snapping his neck. And that's from some of the mainstream things that I read, is that's where a lot of people kind of drew the line on Zack Snyder's Superman was, the just killing folks. I understood it. I mean, I get why he had to do it at that moment in time in context. But yeah, I mean, he's not killing anybody in Batman v Superman. He's not killing anybody in Justice League. So it wasn't a thing that he did on the regular. So when I say, I guess, the no-kill rule, I'm like, if he's going to kill somebody, it's got to matter. And it's not just because, it just has to matter. That's why Injustice was so good. It mattered and it drove the whole story. And if you didn't have the no-kill rule, then it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, I guess it's a double-edged sword. Do you think that, okay, but as far as my point, as far as it being a little more on the childish and more infantilizing side of the coin, do you agree with that or no?
I mean, no, I think these heroes are an idealized version of ourselves. Like, we don't want to think we would kill anybody, but I just had a new granddaughter a month ago, and as I was holding her in my arms in the hospital with her little fingers wrapped around my index finger, and I'm staring into her eyes, I thought, I will kill for you, right? Because I love that baby so much. So we want to think that Superman is the idealized version of ourselves, right? And Batman is the idealized version of ourselves, and we want to think that no matter what, that we're not going to kill anybody. But like I said earlier, anybody's capable of anything given the right circumstances and the appropriate triggers. And if somebody did something to my granddaughter, I would snap necks.
Okay, let me ask you this: would you kill Hitler?
Like, go back in time as a baby? And
yeah, if you could go back in time and kill Hitler, would you kill him?
Man, we want to talk about time travel paradoxes now. Like, what other effects would have happened if we killed Hitler, of all the things that we would have done? What wouldn't have happened? What would not have happened?
Like imagine the world was just like even worse when we get to that point.
Yeah.
Like that'd be fucking crazy. If like the result of killing Hitler was like 10 times as bad as Hitler was, like that would be the ultimate, like the universe telling you to go fuck yourself. It's just like, yeah.
I mean, Hitler, as bad as he was, Hitler, as bad as he was, filled a vacuum, right? And then it's kind of like you remove that centralizing piece of everybody focused in on this one person, one ideology. Where would it have all gone? Anarchy would rule, chaos would reign, and who knows?
Yeah. Well, I'd kill him. I'd kill him. I wouldn't be able to resist the impulse. I've always said that if you ever, like, if there was ever another war like that where it was literal fascism, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm not talking about Elon Musk. I don't think that's fascism at all. That's what democracy is. That man was voted in. So, but if another Hitler showed up again, I would definitely join the front lines for that, because I feel like that's something worth dying for.
Yeah,
is like when you get to somebody like that, So I found an interesting post this week. I want to talk to you guys about it. So it was a photo of the Justice League, and it was like Justice League members and chances of soloing the Avengers. and it had percentages.
Okay.
So 95% Superman, 70% Batman, 93% Wonder Woman, 98% The Flash. This is why I respect this, because I want to go into why the Flash is actually the most powerful character in the DC universe, and also the most nerfed character in the DC universe. 85% Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, 90% Martian Manhunter, 60% Aquaman. By the way, Aquaman has super strength, so probably a little higher than that, I would say. Cyborg 80% and Shazam 89%.
So what are these percentages again? One more time. These are the chances against the
that
Avengers.
They could solo the Avengers.
Mm-hmm. I disagree with Batman. I think Batman's chance would be lower, only unless he could prepare. Because in a one-on-one fight, I mean, you bring Captain Marvel.
If he doomed them, if he Tower babbled them.
Yeah, I guess so. But
yeah, if he came up with deterrents for all of them, then yeah, it could get pretty crazy. Some of the deterrents he had for his fellow Justice League members in Tower of Babel were fucking insane.
Diabolical.
Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah. So cool.
He was a villain. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Flash, I 100% agree. I 100% agree that he's the most powerful.
He's the most powerful character in all of DC. And if he was a murderer like Reverse Flash, he would be the most dangerous thing on the planet, like without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why everybody just passes over this guy thinking, oh, he just runs fast. No, he can fucking literally phase into your body and just stab you in the heart with his hand whenever he fucking wants. He can also like lift you off the ground just by using his arms as like turbines. Like he can literally dodge any attack. He can phase through any attack. So he's probably one of the most dangerous characters. And I think phasing is actually a very under-respected power set, because Martian Manhunter has it too, Vision has it as well. And when you combine that with something else, I think you're fucked. Like I literally think you're one of, like, if you're going up and against anybody who has another power set that can phase, that has not only can phase but has another power set, whether it be super strength or some sort of kind of weapon, you're fucked. Like that person is fucked. I don't think that there's any way of getting out of that fight alive, because phasing, if they can just do it at will, like in nanoseconds, then you're screwed. I think you stand no chance at all.
Yeah, plus he can flashpoint you to another universe. So
that's another
There's
thing.
always that.
And he could do the whole time travel to go back and kill Hitler.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. And he could watch different versions go to see which is good or which is bad. So
yeah. Rich, who do you think is the most powerful character in DC is?
Batman with prep time. Batman with prep time. That's his superpowers, prep time.
Yeah, I know, but it's only because the writer wants it to be so. That's it.
But I mean,
prep time and a writer. That's Batman's superpowers.
That's right.
And money.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he had no prep time, I mean, he'd get kind of squashed like a bug, I would imagine, at some point. So,
yeah, but some of the fights he's won have been crazy. Like he beat Darkseid.
Yeah.
He beat what's his face? Savage.
Vandal Savage, yeah.
Yeah, he's beat Luthor a couple times. Like he's beat some pretty fucking up there dudes.
He's smart
for sure.
I mean, I think his intellect is downplayed a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's one of the smartest people in the DC universe. I mean, I think Lex Luthor is ahead of him by just a little bit. I think Mr. Terrific is ahead of him a little bit. The Chimp, Detective Chimp, is up there as well. I think Renee Montoya is up there as well. But yeah, he's one of the smartest people in DC.
I mean, I think the longer the fight goes, the advantage goes to Batman. You got to take out Batman quick, but the longer you keep him in the fight, the more he learns about you, the more he can come up with ways to counterattack you.
He's the best strategist for sure. He's the best tactician. Yeah, he's definitely the best tactician for sure. So you weren't saying much when me and Brad were kind of like singing the praises of Flash and kind of just laying out why he's the most dangerous character in the DC. You don't subscribe to that?
No, I do. I mean, I really don't have a whole lot more to say about Flash. I really do think he's the strongest and most lethal. He could be the most lethal character. I mean, the Reverse Flash shows what Flash could do if unhinged. I mean, it's a perfect mirror image of Flash. It's Flash without morals. It's Flash without any kind of compass, true north compass. It's Flash without Iris West, right? So Flash with his super speed, the phasing, the Flash pointing people to another universe, just, I mean, dodging attacks. He is I mean, he's up there.
Yeah, I think if you want to spot the most powerful character in any given franchise, look at who the most nerfed character is. Like, who are the writers, dialing down just to make their books work or just make their stories work, right? Like, who are they basically hobbling? Like, who are they, handicapping, like, in these fights, right? And Flash is definitely the guy that gets fucking handicapped, because if they just let him go full bore, like, he wins every fight. Like, he could just, like, with the Flash, he wouldn't even need the Justice League. Could just be Flash. Like, literally, like, he could take out an entire group of enemies on his own, which is kind of nuts when you think about it. Like, he could take on the entire Injustice League by himself. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they have him as a support player. Like, even in Justice League, he was like, "What do I do?" Batman said, "Just run, just get people one by one and pull them out."
Yeah, well, that's because he was inexperienced and he was scared and he had anxiety, and he was just kind of a mess, right?
Yeah.
But if we're talking about classic Barry Allen or classic Wally West, then
so who's your Frank? Who's your Flash?
I really like Wally West, but I also really like Barry Allen for many different reasons. I like Wally's personality. He's just more vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
He's just more, there's more dimension to him. And he's just kind of more like, he's the Spider-Man Flash. Like, he's quippy and he's just kind of jokey, and where Barry is more like just all heart,
Yeah.
But I like both of them. I really like both of them a lot. Anyways, I think this about wraps it up. Yeah. So, guys, thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you have any thoughts for us, hit us up on Twitter or any of our other social media profiles or SpeakPipe. And we'll see you guys for the next one. Until next time, I'm Frank McGuire.
I'm the Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butin.
And I'm Rich Herrera.
Peace.
See ya.